Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Boardroom. Today, once again, we're going to be speaking to some local business leaders and picking their minds about how they think the economy will be recovering in the weeks and months to come. As always, we are live on Facebook at the moment, and we would love to put your questions and your comments to our interviewees, so feel free to add them below. If you don't manage to catch us live, no problem at all. This will be streamable back on who'swho.mt, which is Malta's leading business portal. Now, today we're going to be discussing a topic that's close to my own heart for a number of reasons, and we're going to be questioning whether the industry to do with weddings, so the wedding sector, will be able to survive 2020. Will we have any weddings as the year goes on? We know that a slow recovery is starting to take place, but will people choose to sort of forget 2020 altogether and go straight into 2021 with their planning? And to help us learn a little bit more about this topic and how the sector is going to survive, we have three business leaders from within that industry. We're joined today by Sarah Young, of course, who's incredibly well known within the sector. She is the director at Sarah Young Luxury Events and Weddings. We have Alistair Fenech, who's the director at Alistair Floral Design, and Veronica Zammit, who is managing director at Villa Arrigo Boutique Events. Guys, how wonderful to have you with us on the Boardroom. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Welcome. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Now, I know, of course, that your sector has been so badly hit. Events, weddings, anything of that kind of gathering kind. My own wedding was actually postponed, so I sympathize definitely with anybody going through it. And Sarah, I'll come to you first. Maybe you could just give us a bit of insight into what happened in the early days of COVID and how quickly you realized it was going to be a problem.
Well, it happened very suddenly. As soon as Malta closed down, we started realizing that this is going to be a massive problem, especially since from my end, I do 90% of business incoming destination weddings. So when all the countries are closing the airports, all of a sudden, nobody can come to get married. So it was a very big shock. It happened really fast, within weeks. People didn't know what to do. We were in contact with each and every client of ours, even clients of 2021, because they were shocked as well. You know, some people have been hit even in 2021 because they've been made redundant. So they've lost their income, so they can no longer travel to have their wedding abroad. So this is not just looking at 2020, which is dire straits. We're looking at a long-term situation as well. And by April, within 4 to 5 weeks, we started. Who wanted to cancel, who wanted to postpone. So then the dynamic started immediately. My team and I set up an email system with all our suppliers, all our venues, everybody, and we asked them for how they're going to cope, how they're going to react to this. Will you give your deposit back? Will you accept a postponement? So we needed to know how, because remember, wedding planner doesn't only have one thing with a client. The wedding planner has 20 or 30 suppliers per wedding. So you need to know the terms and conditions, because nobody had spilled or written these terms and conditions. Nobody expected COVID to come. So that's the first thing we did. And then every time a client had an issue with cancel, if they wanted to cancel or postpone, we tried to help them see both scenarios. And we'd work out what they would lose with a cancellation, what they would get if they postpone. And on the whole, I would say a big number postponed, but we did have cancellations as well, because some people could no longer afford the wedding abroad, and their guests don't have the money to travel. They prefer to do something small locally to have all their family and friends with them.
Absolutely. Sarah, I'll come back to you on that, because I think that's a very interesting topic to talk more about, whether foreign weddings will be impacted longer term because of perhaps reduced family incomes that people are going to have as a result of COVID. But Alistair, I'll come to you now just for a bit of insight. I mean, I know this would be, like everybody else in this room, your busiest period. I can imagine that right now you'd be buzzing from one event to the other with your beautiful flowers. Tell us, how does 2020 look different to 2019 for you?
Well, as Sarah explained earlier, this year started with a bit of a stressful period for all of us, for clients, for vendors. So all in all, as we may experience, it started with a very tense and stressful situation, emotional for especially for clients. However, we had only a few marriages, I would say a handful of marriages. So we did some bridal bouquets and some buttonholes, but something which is really minimal compared to our usual May, June agenda compared to this year's list of weddings. So there were clients where they decided to still get married, do something really intimate, of course, just the six of them, basically, maybe parents or witness and the bride and the groom. So it was quite an intimate marriage, I would say, with a meal at home or something really minimal, basically. So we had a few of those, which we had a handful, basically, not much. And now it seems to be that it's kicking off slowly, of course, for June. As we all know, June is the peak for the season. However, we still have some events, some parties, some weddings, an engagement party, but slowly. So this would kick off very slowly compared to our usual June, May, June, July, our summer, basically. So we're starting. However, some clients are still confused whether they should keep on track as they planned, or they should resize their amount of guests, or change from indoors to outdoors, or all these little things which make a lot of difference. However, yes, it's kicking off, but very slowly. Of course, we have to see how it goes along the summer and for the coming months leading up to Christmas, basically.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alistair. And Veronica, what's this story been like over there at Villa Arrigo and for Osborne? Again, I can imagine a complete shutdown like you've never seen before. Can you give us a bit of insight into how things progressed from when you closed and how things are starting to pick up now?
Okay, so basically this virus was a total shock to all of us, I think, all globally. Yes, we stopped. Zero. It was 1 minute, you've got your bookings and, you've got a good sum of weddings booked up for March, April, May and June. Suddenly, it's just stopped. What I could say is a lot of people postponed. I don't think we've had cancellations whereby, people didn't want to, because people have planned their big day. So the reality is they still want to have their special day. It's once in a lifetime. So yes, everybody, most of them, 99% of them have postponed. By postponing, does it solve problems? No, not very much. I mean, it helps, but to be quite honest, the impact is there. You still need to pay your staff, you still need to pay your utilities, you still need to pay for zero income. So, yes, it has impacted us a lot. We have been very sympathetic and we've helped many of our couples along because this is not their fault. This is not our fault. So we had to work hand in hand. It was very important that we worked hand in hand. The way forward, I mean, thank goodness things have changed. Things are opening. But the Maltese still love their large events. They still love their large wedding. I mean, like Sarah said, the small, intimate, overseas weddings, I mean, a lot of them won't come back. We've lost them. Like Sarah said, they decided to stay at home. Whereby the Maltese weddings, luckily, would postpone and still have a largish wedding, which at the end of the day, I mean, they deserve to have the best, right? Ultimately, I mean, we're looking forward to August, September, I mean, but September, hopefully, if things go as should be and people are careful and people keep their distance and do whatever the authorities tell us to do. Hopefully, we will have a season as of September, but it's no guarantee. And the fear is to keep this business for everybody, because a lot of people are affected in this industry. It's not just a wedding, the church, the venue, the food, the flowers, and the music. There's a lot that goes into this, and it gives a lot to the economy. So the minute this stops, literally, if it stops, then yes, we're going to have a very big, so we need someone to hold our hands slightly here.
Absolutely. And Sarah, just talking a little bit about what you touched upon there. Obviously, the majority of your clients come from overseas. You're helping them with everything from choosing the very basics for their wedding right up until the execution, because of course they are not here. They don't know the island. Do you think that you will have a number of events that don't take place at all? Is that what you're expecting?
Well, the few cancellations we had was mainly because not every venue, like Veronica, were very sympathetic and helpful. So I don't deal with just one venue. I deal with a number of venues. Veronica and her company have done extremely well for our clients. In fact, all the weddings we had booked at Villa Arrigo have postponed because they've been accommodating. But obviously, not everybody has reacted in the same way. Some people were not accommodating at all. If the foreigners come back, this is a very big question mark. We still have 4 weddings lined up for end of August, beginning of September, 2 of which were in May. So they postponed to this year. So really and truly, they weren't already set for August and September, but they moved. We're hoping they happen, but it's not easy. One, they don't know if their guests are happy to travel. At the moment, people don't feel safe. If you ask your friends, 80% of people tell you, no, this year I'm not going to travel. I'm going to make sure to stay in Malta. So you have to think of it from the other end. Their guests are not that happy to have to get a plane and risk getting the corona. But apart from that, it's the quarantine back home. Not all countries have lifted quarantine like Malta is from the 15th of July. So these 4 foreign weddings still waiting to come or not are still checking if when they go back home, they have to do a 14-day quarantine, because companies are not going to accept that an employee goes for a week holiday to Malta for a wedding and then do 2 weeks working from home or in quarantine again. See, so we get our poor couple want to do the wedding. Things are getting better, but their numbers are reducing. Their guests are not comfortable, so the big trauma of these destination weddings coming in, which, as Veronica said, brings a lot of income along the way. These people fill the hotels. These people eat out at restaurants. This is a very big circle of income, which doesn't stop at flowers or, cars or the venue or the food. They bring a lot to the economy. I mean, we're talking thousands. And I realize now, because they were sending me, like there was a wedding of 80 people that moved. They had over 60 grand worth of rooms booked at a 5-star hotel. That's gone, so the economy.
Restaurants.
Exactly. They go out to eat and drink. The Irish drink every day till they drop. They generate so much business on the island, So this is a very big thing. And we don't know. In my opinion, we are still far from being able to say, yes, it's going to happen again. Yes, in fact, from my end, we're getting a few inquiries, but for 2022. 2021 is not looking good as well. Now, can the industry or small companies like me take a hit in a second year around? Because this year's weddings, some postponed. But if next year is not amazingly good, you cannot deal with 2 years, like Veronica said, paying out all these bills and not having your income come in. So this is a long-term thing, with very little solution at the moment.
Yes. And with that in mind, Alistair, I mean, what sort of support have you found in the past few weeks? Because obviously your business would have been hit, perhaps not as much as some other businesses, because you would have had perhaps some sort of backup. Like I would imagine Mother's Day would have potentially still been a relatively busy time, perhaps not as busy. But, you know, for small businesses like yours, did you find the support that you felt was necessary to keep the economy ticking over?
In generally, yes. As we all know, Malta, I think, considered with some other countries which were not as lucky as us, I would say. I think we did quite well. We were organized. The promised funds were delivered and sent on time and on regular basis and constantly. So what we were promised, really and truly, we got and we had, and all in all, we managed to keep it going. Of course, I'm referring to the funds and the grants which we were promised, like anyone else. So in that sense, yes. Luckily, as a brand, our services are a bit more open rather than just weddings and events. And of course, I have hotels, which those hotels which closed on day one, basically. Our contract also had to quit as soon as the hotel closed the doors. Basically, we had to stop our services straight away. So besides the events, the hotels, other contracts which we had with offices, which they sent their team members working from home, so they didn't need flowers in the lobby of the building or anything. Luckily, as you mentioned, we had Mother's Day, we had some jobs for Easter. Of course, Mother's Day, as we all know, generates quite a lot, and it was good business because, of course, families did not meet up and go out for lunch or this and that. So basically, we were delivering flowers together with some other gifts like perfume or wine or some sweets or desserts or cakes. And so we gave that special service of delivering other gifts besides just flowers and plants. Also, luckily, we invested in a very good online shop with a new website, which this was a year ago. So we had enough time to invest in this product and in this type of service. And luckily, this was up and running rather than we had to start from scratch, because otherwise that would be quite an issue, basically. So luckily, we were set with online. We had a very good platform with already an amount of clients which they are there already because they purchased flowers in the last few months. So we had that platform which was set and running, and we strengthened that position with more items, with new collections, with other gifts. So luckily we were set and we were prepared to be offering that type of service to our clients, and that worked because that showed that clients are willing to buy online. They want the service. They are happy with what they're getting, and you're offering a good design, easy to buy, easy to pay, user-friendly, innovative, fresh website. So it looks good, user-friendly and all. So luckily, from that aspect, that's something which we saw a spike at the beginning of April with our website. So it showed straight away that customers are looking to buy online, and it's going to be quite popular, even more than the previous months, basically.
Excellent. And with that in mind, Veronica, I mean, we are hearing from many of the people that we interview on here that they are sort of, this has given them some time to think about maybe things that they could do differently within their business, perhaps, an opportunity to strategize in ways that you might not have had in the very busy years that we've had recently. Is there anything that comes to mind for your business that you've decided maybe you will do differently going forward?
Well, going forward would make me be more aware of, what needs to be done all round, in actual fact. I think that going forward, which is not it's not even an easy question to ask, because at this point, what is going forward? For me, going forward is September. Is it going to happen? Do we need, I mean, as much as the government, we've had many government grants which have helped us tremendously. I mean, we kept all our staff. So in reality, what's going to happen beyond September? Like me, there are many like us. What I say, looking ahead, is that I think as people, as such, as Maltese people, all around the world, I think we need to be a bit more vigilant in the way we do things, in maybe you know, our cleanliness, how the venues that we choose. Should these I mean, you know, you have to look at everything today, and everything should be part of the experience we've passed at these past 3 months. Looking back and looking forward, I would say, listen, life is something to celebrate. A wedding is something we should celebrate. Mother's Day, any day, we should celebrate, and we should celebrate our life. And most of all, if people wanted to have their weddings, go ahead and have it. You know, I mean, let's not be afraid. You can't be afraid. We have to take that next step. And our next step is the one to the future. What I intend to do, well, that's up here.
And Sarah, moving on to you now, I'm sure that in the past few weeks you have had to be very supportive to the couples that were planning their wedding. I can only imagine quite how stressful this was for them. Like Veronica said, the biggest day in their lives, they were looking forward to it. How did you cope with having to sort of take on this new role, perhaps, to be able to try and give advice, even when advice wasn't necessarily easy to come by, even in your own area?
Yeah. Well, we called it, myself and my team, crisis management, you know, because it was no longer happy emails of choosing flowers, of choosing your cake. And it was every day you wake up in the morning and I go, should I look at my phone? Should I look at my phone? Maybe not, you know, because it's all emails of, we don't know what we're going to do, what's happening in Malta. So we got a system in place, and I would communicate with each and every client. I got onto Zoom and Skype immediately, because a face call is easier to explain emotions, especially us Maltese, you know. We gesture a lot. We are more empathic when we have a face in front of us rather than just on the phone or in an email. So we kept all our clients updated. We helped as much as possible. We did not charge a penny for postponing a wedding or helping you out, or we worked hours and hours on each wedding to make it happen, to postpone, or if they wanted to cancel, what is their damage going to be? But we did not feel it is fair. Just like Veronica, for example, they did not increase prices because they postponed to 2021, you know, so it's not everybody was the same. And I think, yes, life is a celebration, but I think this has been a learning curve as well, because in these dire situations, not everybody was there for everyone. So I think the true colors of people come out as well. And who you've been working with for many years, you know, you appreciate the support they give the clients, because we have a very difficult role. We're in the middle. So you have the couple really depressed, panic, they don't know what to do. The suppliers are slowly dying without income, and you're in the middle. You want to keep your supplier happy, but at the same time, you have to help your couple. So it's a very difficult situation. And to joke, you know, my first degree had a lot of psychology in it, and I used to think, what a waste of time. But thank God for those years, you know, because it helps when you can be understanding, you know. So we were never rude, we were always very understanding, and we tried our best to help everyone. The outcome, at least, has been very positive from our clients, and a lot of thank yous and very appreciative, but it's not over. We still have to go through quite
It's a long way.
it's a long way.
Yeah.
And September, as Veronica said, our industry is hit long run. If these 4 weddings do not take place, the 4 left in our calendar, we would not have done a wedding from December 2019 till April 2021. This is no
That's
joke.
right.
16 months of no income if these 4 foreign weddings postpone or cancel. So it is a very big impact in our industry, and this is not only me, this is everybody around us. And like, for example, Alistair, good for him, at least he could fork out in another little angle and other services like Mother's Day. But when you deal with directly with weddings, that is it,
Right.
And staying on that, Sarah, I mean, what does the impact look like in your opinion? I mean, do you think there will be businesses, perhaps smaller businesses in the sector, that will have no choice but to go out of business?
Well, I hope I remain in business, but I've sat with my professional accountants and we've done all the work you need to do. And it's looking like 2-3 years to recover economically from this year. So you're going to work. Thank God I'm not that old that I can not waste, but take 3 years because I love what I do. My company's been set, was the first wedding planner on the island, and it's been 20 years in the making. I do not intend to throw it away. But of course, I've got friends of mine who are top planners in the world. If they're in their mid-50s, some of them are actually considering that maybe it's not worth waiting 3 years now. Go into consultation, go into another area in weddings, because do you want to work 3 years to make up for one? It's not easy, So yes, there will be small businesses, I'm sure, and even big ones. It depends the age, it depends the energy, depends how quickly things turn around. Because we could be at a stalemate for 2 years, and then it's going to be very hard for even the very big prominent people to survive.
Certainly. And Alistair, is that your thoughts as well? I mean, how do you see the recovery? When do you think that big weddings will take place again and that people will start to feel confident about making plans?
Well, as Veronica said earlier, I think this is a very difficult answer. I mean, we are not planners. However, we receive emails and messages every day, and clients ask, I think, each and every vendor, basically, about this question, about what's the situation, whether they can travel to Malta or even by local clients, whether they think that we can have our wedding. Currently, there is a mix of feelings from clients, from what we get. For example, we just had a postponement of a wedding in December because I was having the wedding inside with 750, 800 guests being indoors in a ballroom or in a venue. Whether it's a good decision to keep it going or we postpone, because of course then it will be indoors, and then there's the second spike, which keeps on coming up from health professions. So there is a mix of feelings, mix of ideas, and besides the emotional part, whether to take the decision or not, or who's taking the decision to postpone or to keep the wedding on track. So it's very difficult to reply to such a question, because of course, first of all, out there you've got the health professions where they are giving one advice, and then you've got other people which they give you a different advice. However, I think each and every client has to take the decision which suits them best, according to their situation, according to their guests, whether the family members or relatives are happy to attend in a place with few hundred gathered in that particular place. Of course, summer might be easier, of course, for all of us, because I think decisions are easier to take to hold an outdoor wedding. But then coming November, December, that might push those thoughts for greater decisions to be taken, having the wedding possibly indoors. So that might be a bit more risky if we've got the second spike or whatever. So there's a mix, I believe, of decisions to be taken according to even client's personality and character, and each and every person has to take that particular decision. It's not easy. So at the moment, I think no one can reply to such a question, because we have all these questions being asked by clients to each and every vendor, I think, not just wedding planners, because everyone is asking you, what shall we do, you know? However, it's very difficult to reply to such questions, because first of all, I know as much as you know, you know, and so at the end of the day, it's very difficult to guide someone to take a direction and not the other, because there's always a risk behind that answer.
In fact, I wonder if, and Veronica, I'll just come to you for this one. I wonder if it's almost more confusing now that we no longer have in place the fact that weddings cannot happen. That happened, you know, until a couple of weeks ago, that was the case. No weddings can happen. Whereas now, obviously, it's a bit ambiguous. I find wherever I go, people are unsure. Should we be keeping social distance? Do we have to wear our mask? Today, you know, the rules are relaxed, but at the same time, people are still concerned. Do you find that today potential consumers, your potential customers, are more confused about the situation?
I would say not confused, uncertain. I think it's more uncertainty, which only no one can give a certain answer to. But I believe that, as I said, if people, I mean, today there was again zero positive cases. Today is the second day. So I think we're on the way in the right direction. What, like Alistair said, second wave, I wouldn't know. I don't know. I would say that weddings like Sarah has in August and September, I think they should just go ahead. You know, it's summer, it's outdoor, like Alistair said, most of it anyway. If they're going to have a loud band, probably it has to be indoors. But you can have an indoor-outdoor wedding. What else? I mean, then one has to revisit the situation in September. We had, like I said, and I repeat, some grants that helped very, very much, which I believe should carry on, because it's not a matter of us having it at the now, the present.
That's right.
But we need it. We need that help as we start our business going. Why do I say this? Because we're not a shop. Just opened its doors and people came in. We are long-term planning. Our business is long-term planning. So we are planning, like Sarah said, for next April, mainly now, and hoping that next April will happen. I mean, so in my opinion, if I had an August wedding, I would go with it, especially if there are zero cases, for sure. Yeah. If it's September, October, November, the same, you know, and then see what happens.
And on the whole, Veronica, Malta is considered to be safe. So, and the people coming towards Malta for a wedding, who have booked a wedding, tell me, it seems that Malta is very okay because we keep checking every day. So internationally, at least, we are portraying that we did the right thing. And I think we did. We maintained it. We got down to zero cases, even if they go up and down a bit. But I think as a country, we did a very good job. Yes, I believe the Maltese stayed in. We were never on total lockdown, but the Maltese were conscious about it and stayed in. And we did an excellent, job of this whole thing. What we have to see is once the airports open, which we need them to open for our economy. So it's a double-ended sword because we need the tourists to come in. But what is going to happen? So this is something I keep asking, even to our Maltese Tourism Authority. Do we know if they're going to go through a test? Do we know if it's just the temperature they're checking? Because I'm being asked these questions. Do they need a doctor's certificate? Do they need to do the test back home? So you see the uncertainty.
There are certain places that you don't need to do quarantine. But I would say, put it on the individual. Would you travel if you're not feeling well? Today?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't,
because I'd be afraid if I had to get this virus and I'm away from home. Even the language barrier. I mean, so I wouldn't travel if today, on hindsight, if I have a sniffly nose, I wouldn't bother traveling, whereby maybe in the past I did. So ultimately, I think it's up to the individual too. And as I said, I think life should go back to its new normal, but we can't be afraid to take the next step. And we cannot scaremonger the couples, because at the end of the day, it should be a pleasure. This should be a fun thing. It's a once in a lifetime. So if they were thinking of getting, I'm not going to tell you in the middle of the coronavirus, because it's obvious it's not going to happen. But today, if the churches are open and they want to have a church wedding, then go ahead with it. Go as planned, in my opinion.
Right.
And then, I mean, you can postpone 2 months before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what these few weddings left are doing. They're waiting because they want to go on and have the celebration.
And in fact, I told a lot of my a lot of the couples that were booked with us for September, October, November, and December for the autumn, winter season. When they called, I did tell them, please wait. Let's wait and see. Because you never know. I mean, it could have been it was too early. It was too early. And I think 2-3 months before the actual date is meant to happen, I think you have enough time to postpone.
Absolutely.
Totally agree. Yeah, and some people took that advice, but not everybody, you know.
No,
but then
you always
up
have
to the
the
individual.
exception to the rule. Like,
Yeah,
there's always the exception to the rule. But
But
I believe that. Sorry.
it's okay. I was just going to say, absolutely great advice coming across there. And in fact, I'd love to wrap up the conversation. I'd love to share the advice you have, either for couples who are currently going through that phase of deciding what to do, or perhaps to sort of other businesses, maybe even collaborators that you work with in the sector. What would be your advice, of how to deal with this next phase? Veronica, I'll come to you first.
Well, let me tell you, there are a lot of people. I mean, I'm suffering, we're suffering, but there are some others that are suffering more than others. I believe that the government grants, and I stress on it because it has been a help, and it needs to carry on. We need to carry on beyond September, or if not carry on beyond September, at least revisit the situation in September before the closure of these grants. To all the smaller suppliers, everyone's in the same boat, We've all got, we call it a ataharta in Maltese. So basically, it could be, but it's still a ataharta. It could be a big, small, whatever. Everyone sees their own. I believe that we should urge the couples to actually move ahead, especially the ones of September and October, for sure, and August, because I know there won't be as many in August, but I think these 3 months, 3 months coming up, should be a time when we could host these events, that they can happen.
Okay, thank you, Veronica. Alistair, your thoughts, please.
Well, I carry on with Veronica's advice. I think in general, that's the same sentiment which I shared with clients which were concerned or were asking the question the last few days and the last 2 or 3 weeks. Basically, we would suggest the same. Most of these weddings or events are happening outdoors anyway. And as long as we are taking care of each other in generally, however, they should go along and just proceed with their plans. And if they're comfortable with the whole thing and with the whole idea to carry on and move ahead, we just encourage them, and of course, just go for it and do it and have the wedding. Basically.
Excellent. So I'm sure many of our brides and grooms watching, feeling hopeful perhaps about getting married in the next few weeks. Sarah, what about you? What would be your advice?
Well, I think we all need to be positive. It's useless tearing your hair out or getting depressed. I mean, we're all in this situation. So I think being positive, both from our end and with our clients, is very, very important. I agree that certain weddings can take place now, especially when you're speaking about a wedding of 60 people in a venue which can take 500. you
That's
know,
right.
so you have the space. You're so lucky. The venue's huge and doesn't make you look like you have a small wedding because of the way we'll set it up for you. So there is the positivity that you can have your wedding. Then again, you cannot force anyone to have this big day. So everybody has his agenda. When they are comfortable, we have to try and help them have their big day. But hopefully, yes, you know, in August and September, we'll be working, which is, you can't imagine how hard it is to, you know, not to have that vibe. You know, we're usually breathless at this time of year.
At this time of the year, all of us are like chickens without a head, usually,
Exactly.
and I have
I
nothing
come
to do.
Exactly. Today I took my daughter swimming for 2 hours. It never happens usually, you know. So there is another aspect of it. I haven't been off in a summer for 19 years, you know. So I'm going to try and make the most of it. It's not the best scenario. And I'd rather be working and doing what I love doing and bringing the income to the family. But we have to be positive, you know. It's useless digging a hole and sticking ourselves in it and go, oh, this is the worst time ever. It is the worst time ever.
It is.
But I believe we have to keep ourselves going. Collaborations, help our suppliers, work together, you know.
I think we have to work all together. All the suppliers need to work together, be together, and support each other. And by supporting each other, we are supporting the couple that are getting married. And we're going to help them have a brilliant day. And that is what counts for us.
That's
Wonderful.
right. Process.
Well, excellent, positive sentiment there. Hopefully, some positive news, perhaps, to people that are questioning at the moment whether to get married, and also, you know, some good news, perhaps, to your collaborators that things might start sooner, perhaps, than you originally thought they would. So, thank you all, Sarah, Veronica, Alistair. Thank you very much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for
Not
Have a
inviting
nice
us.
day.
And as
Thank you so
always,
much.
to those of you watching us at home or at the office, thank you for being with us, and we look forward to being with you next time on The Boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.